Good morning, everyone. Glad to see you all here. When the DMAI Hall of Fame was created last year, as Michael indicated, we wanted to recognize leaders in our profession who really left their mark, particularly over the last 100 years. And one of the criteria for induction was to include individuals who have really been leading innovators in our industry, people who have literally tilted the axis of the DMO world. In essence, we really wanted to have someone who, by the sheer force of their contributions, have fundamentally changed the direction of our profession for the better. So I can think of few people better suited to that description than our first inductee today, Don Anderson. Don's been the creator and pioneer of DMAI's professional certification program, CDME, since it was developed more than 22 years ago. Since that time, hundreds of professionals from throughout the world have taken in-depth and extensive classes that explore the very best practices of our industry. From DMO leadership, marketing, branding, sales, sports marketing, or visitor service centers, Don has created a curriculum that is varied, vast, and one that has extreme relevance and practicality for DMOs large and small. What's remarkable, though, about this program is that it is the most comprehensive DMO educational program of its kind in the world today. The CDME program, which was envisioned by Don, with course development by Don, often taught by Don, has more than, yeah, he does a lot. Any other DMAI program, more than any other DMAI program, has changed and enhanced the overall competency and professionalism of our industry by having that comprehensive educational training program that is really offered nowhere else. So if you're out there, one of the 800 CDME participants, or one of the nearly 44 CDME graduates who will be walking the stage at this convention, will you please stand up right now? What you saw there are the beneficiaries of Don's dedicated efforts. And what each of these participants will tell you is that what makes this program unique is that each participant is not only there to learn new material, but to take what they learned and take it home and improve their DMO when they get back. It's truly applied knowledge. So if the average class of a CDME is say, 30 people, and they keep a list, which Don insists they do, of the things that they need to change and improve when they get back, and many of them have very long lists, sometimes 60, 70 items. If each one of those people went home and only implemented 2 of those are 60 things that have improved our profession out of that one class. Manifest that over 22 years, hundreds of classes, and you literally have thousands of things, such as invigorated, more focused marketing plans, better community relations, improved product development, that DMOs large and small are doing better than they did before CDME. Those of us who know Don, and those of you in the CDME program, know we often call it a Donathon. In fact, there is a Facebook group called Donathon Survivors, which was created by Charles Jeffers, the DMAI COO, because Don really wants these programs to be very extensive, and yes, they're very long. To earn a CDME, you have to complete 3 core class papers, essay exam, and then complete a thesis, a white paper of sorts, on a topic that's relevant to you. In other words, to get your CDME is truly a career highlight. It takes a lot of work. It is not a cakewalk. It takes time, commitment, and money. And to go through the CDME program with travel and tuition, it's about $10,000 per person. But for Don, this whole program is not work. This is his life's calling. He truly, honestly wants what's best for this profession, even if it's at his personal expense. So CDME has changed our industry in a very meaningful way and made us all more competent, professional, and confident in our jobs. This has been Don's passion project for more than 2 decades, and one we can all be grateful for his dedication. As you can see, it's easy to see why Don merits induction into the DMI Hall of Fame. So please join me in welcoming and inducting into the Hall of Fame the original Donathoner himself, Mr. Don Anderson. Standing ovation, Don. Ready.
Gary, thanks for your kind and complimentary remarks. Much appreciated. DMEI, thank you for bestowing this prestigious and honorary recognition and induction to the Hall of Fame. I fully accept, not only for myself, but certainly for those past, current, and future graduates of the program. They are the ones who took and will take the time, commit themselves, and earn our profession's highest educational credential. It is not easy to do, and most graduates recognize that, but the rewards professionally and personally outweigh the effort. Those graduates certainly need to be congratulated for their dedication and their long-term effort in achieving this credential. We all know, though, it's all about learning together as fellow DMO colleagues, and how destination marketing, management, and leadership effectively creates tourism wealth for our communities and make them better places, not only for our visitors, be it business and leisure, but for our residents. Thank you, CDME leaders here this morning, for the privilege you have given me to spend time with you in valued discussions and becoming great colleagues and friends in our passionate pursuit of destination leadership excellence. This journey, though, to develop and deliver our CDME program over the past 20 years was not done by me alone, regardless of what the Facebook Donathon says. Many individuals and organizations need to be recognized that provided the necessary support and encouragement along the way. Firstly, 2 supporting deans at the University of Calgary and Purdue University, Drs. Brent Ritchie and Dennis Saviano, for believing in this professional development effort. Also, most importantly, to Bonnie Carlson, Bloomington, Minnesota CVB, and Doug Harmon, formerly Fort Worth, Texas CVB, who were there at the beginning, yes, back in 1992, to ensure that the unanimous support of the DMEI board in going forward in this first ever contracted partnership. I note also that one of my fellow inductees today was there too to lend her necessary support. Thank you, Bobbie Patterson. And of great import, the 15+ member CDME faculty team. Without them, this program would not have gone forward in a practice-focused and a member-responsible way. You all know who you are, but sincere thanks to Gary, Dave, Mitch, Mara, Kelly, Jack, Mary, Rick, Deb, Diana, Alistair, Jim, Barry, Mike, Jonathan, Carol, Roger, and Ed. Without you as part of our team and our instruction and our discussions with those that were joining us, it never would have happened. So thank you very much. Finally, on a personal note, CDME has been an exciting adventure for my family. My wife of 15 years, Teresa, and I would not have met without its debut. It has been a blessing for both of us. So thank you again for this recognition and honor.
Please welcome Executive Vice President of Visit Pittsburgh, Jason Fulvey.
Good morning, everyone. The next inductee, I was very pleased to be asked to introduce this man because he's had an impact not only on our industry, but on my growth as a DMO professional. So it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. George Fennec, professor at East Carolina University. Dr. Fenich has demonstrated a significant and long-term contribution to destination marketing. Throughout his leadership, innovation, creativity, and in turn, he's advanced the professionalism and stature of the DMO industry. Now, George is a pioneer in developing standards for industry professionals. He was the founder of the Accreditation Commission for Programs and Hospitality Administration and used his experience to move forward the meetings and business event competency standards. He also developed the initial algorithms for the report that we all look at every day, the TAP report. You know, and anytime something has impacted our community or changed our dynamic, George is usually the first guy that I call to say, hey, George, can you help me figure this out? He's not only helped mentor a lot of students, he's also helped mentor a lot of us in this room, including one in particular on our team, our research analyst, who I introduced to George when she first started and said, he's the guy you need to talk to get all of the detail about research in our industry. George has taught and mentored thousands of students on the principles of destination marketing and helped to ensure that our organizations are open to the future leaders of tomorrow. So with that, please, a round of applause, and join me in congratulating Dr. George Fennec.
Good morning. Glad to see all 1,500 of us here this morning. Was it a great party last night? Outstanding. Needless to say, I'm privileged to be here this morning to accept recognition as an inductee into the DMAI Hall of Fame. This is certainly one of the most notable awards bestowed by this industry and the most prestigious award I have received in my career. So thanks to DMAI for bestowing this honor. I really appreciate it. But more importantly, thank you to so many of you in the audience for your long-term friendship and your support. I'm especially appreciative of your embracing me and allowing me to become part of your DMO community. After all, we've heard this theme a little bit, it's my message this morning, we are a community. And our success does not happen in isolation, but rather our successes happen in collaboration with others. In support of this previous statement, I want to share a couple of examples of collaborative initiatives with DMOs and the DMO community, which I've been fortunate enough to be involved in and that have, A, impacted and positively changed destination marketing, and secondly, helped put forth and support the mission of DMAI. A little bit of a hysterical one, hysterical and historical. Ed McNeill, one of our fellow inductees this morning, of course, New Orleans fame. By the way, I wore my Tabasco tie this morning just to honor Ed. Ed came to me and to the university, faculty at the University of New Orleans, to help him solve a problem. He was not going to make his numbers that year nor the following year, and there was nothing he could do about it, since all potential groups in New Orleans had already booked elsewhere. He came to us and said, could you try to look into the possibility of giving me an early warning system? A system that would allow him to see the future so that he could see where his destination had strong versus weak demand, and allow him to deploy resources to either support or so forth. I, in collaboration with Ed and Nikki Nicholson, who many of you know, was able to develop such an early warning system. That system evolved into the TAP report, a system and report that has taken destination marketing to a new level and continues to see great success. For an academic such as myself, seeing my work used, embraced, and valued by the industry is the greatest reward, and it's a reward that keeps giving. Second example that ties into DMAI itself. Around the year 2000, I decided to embark on the development and production of an introductory book on the meetings and events industry. After brainstorming with other educators, it was determined that there should be a chapter on CVBs. Again, long enough ago, it wasn't DMOs at the time. Rather than write the chapter by myself, I reached out in a collaborative effort to the team at IACVB, now DMAI, of course, to help in developing such a chapter. IACVB, I'm proud to say, stepped up to the plate with Elaine as the lead, with help from other staff in the team, and they put together the first edition that was first published in 2004, and it is now in its 4th edition. Karen Gonzalez on the current staff now helps lead that effort. It is the most widely adopted text in the meetings events industry, and it is read by thousands of students, thousands every year. It is even being translated into Chinese. My point is, this group effort has positively impacted destination marketing and has helped move forward the mission of DMAI, that is in part to make college students more aware of the field of destination marketing and DMOs. In conclusion, I would like to offer some special thanks to some particular individuals. To Michael Garish for his leadership of DMAI and for being so kind as to reach out to a poor faculty member like me at the winter meeting in 2004 when the event overlapped with Super Bowl, and many of us were stuck at the meeting, not be able to go home with friends and relatives to watch the Super Bowl. Michael was kind enough to invite me to join him and his guests in his suite to gather together community to watch the game. So thank you, Michael. I also want to thank Craig Davis, Jason Fulvey, Ketty Kai, and my friends at Visit Pittsburgh for the decades-long relationship that we have enjoyed. I must thank the East Carolina University and our School of Hospitality Leadership for providing me the support, especially the travel support, that has allowed me to be part of these activities. And most importantly, I want to thank my wife, Kathy, for showing me the light, which she did, to move from being an industry professional, general manager, division vice president, to being part of the academic community, the latter of which has offered me the opportunity to impact thousands of young people at critical points in their careers. Thank you to all.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are 3 former chairs of your DMAI board. Serving from 2001 to 2002, the president and CEO of Destination Bloomington, Minnesota, Bonnie Carlson, CDME. From 2008 to 2009, the president and CEO of the Irving, Texas CVB, Maura Gast, FCDME. And serving from 2013 to 2014, the president and CEO of Providence Warwick CVB, Martha Sheridan, CMP.
Good morning, everybody. You know, I was so excited to get the call from Martha to be part of this presentation for a lot of reasons, which I'm going to tell you about. But first, and probably most personally, I spent a lot of time with this lady over the past decades, and I do say that. And believe it or not, people used to confuse us. Bonnie, Bobbie, Bonnie, Bonnie, and we were convinced that it must be that we really looked so much alike. And I think you'll see that when we're finished with this presentation. But truly, I was more honored than excited to be part of the presentation. We all know her as Bobbie Patterson, and but what you might not know is that she has often been referred to as the first. There are a lot of reasons for that, but let me give you a few. She launched the first CVB in Boise, Idaho in the 1980s, and she served as its first executive director, holding that spot for 30-some years. And she actually put Idaho's capital on the map as a great tourism destination. In 1994, she became the first female chair of the board of DMAI, which was then known as ICVB, taking the helm and as the first woman in 80-year history. Those are only a few of her firsts.
Bobbie was also a pioneer for smaller DMOs in the industry. She was credited with establishing standards for Destination Showcase, ensuring a level platform for all destinations regardless of size or budget. And in a lot of ways, she was definitely ahead of her time. Early on, Bobbie slash Bonnie, had it. Early on, she recognized that tourism is part of economic development and worked with her community to expand the tourism message beyond leisure travelers and meeting delegates, a concept that many of us have begun to adopt. When you talk about passion, and I know we all believe we have a passion for the places we represent and the jobs that we do, but passion is when your local government strips your funding and jacks with you, and you stay on the case and on the clock on your own dime. And not just because of that, you have a team that stays with you because they trust you. That's a passion for the work we do.
And Bobbie's also a woman, as we all know, of great integrity, as Maura said, passion, vision, and certainly courage. We see that every day, Bobbie, in everything you do. She's a leader whose contributions will be felt by all of us, male and female, for many, many years to come. Throughout her career, she has generously shared her experience, knowledge, and passion with her peers and the entire DMO community. And as number 4, I can say that I've greatly benefited from all of that. Thank you so much. And something else I can relate to, although she is small in stature, her fearlessness and perseverance are legendary, demonstrated on many levels, both personally and professionally, each and every day. So it gives us extreme pleasure to induct our friend, our colleague, and the number 1, Ms. Bobbie Patterson, into the DMAI Hall of Fame.
Typical. Is this on? You know, I'm the only person who has no notes, which means I may be up here a while. I thought as Dawn and George talked about really serious stuff, yeah, I think once they give you this honor, they can't take it away, I think. So I thought this is a really good time for me to have kind of true confessions. And I'm really, really disappointed that Bill Snyder's not here because although he should be honored, when I first joined ICVB in 1982, you had to go before the board for an interview to be admitted to membership, and you could be rejected. So Bill from Anaheim had a really hard time with his short broad from Boise, Idaho. It was really marginal, but he couldn't really think of any real reasons to not let me be a member, which was a big relief because it was pretty serious when you went for this interview. So that was sort of the start of my career. I was so looking forward to reminding Bill of that. Then there's Ed McNeill. Now, this may not be appropriate, and I hope it's not totally recorded, but, you know, there was a measure of whether or not Ed liked you, particularly if you were female, because if he saw you and said, "Hey, you fat broad," he liked you a lot. If he didn't say that to you, you didn't matter. But I want to tell you why really I have one other confession to make. Don did say, and it kind of was an add-on, that Bobbie Patterson was part of this first CDME program. I have to tell you, I don't have a CDME, but it's because, and I want you all to support me in this, when we first started, there were 9 of us. We went to Calgary. It was great fun because we thought we were being really creative and innovative and doing something new. But I'm telling you, absolutely, Don did not say you have to write papers at the end of it. So here's what we're going to do today. If you all feel that I should deserve, after a lot of years, you could either Facebook Don, or you could text him, or you could just see him and suggest that it would be appropriate. Anyone qualified for the Hall of Honor should be given a CDME. Yes. And then I have one other thing to tell you, and then I'm going to quit. And that is that I know I don't really want to be in the Hall of Fame because I was the first woman chair. Somebody was going to be the first woman chair. I want to be I want to be in the Hall of Fame because somehow through all those years you made a little bit of difference in the organization. I was both honored and challenged to be a chairman at the time that ICVB was changing to DMAI. We went from a long-term management company to hiring our own staff. And I'll tell you, we weren't really great at the part about hiring our own staff. It was a process of elimination. And I think maybe that's why they elected a woman. After, it was really kind of a really marginal year, and I thought to myself, they'll never elect another woman. But what I really did that was really outstanding was the only year we ever had a White House conference on tourism was the year I was chairman. And so we were at a very fine event with about this many people in the audience. And we were at a Jonathan Tisch hotel in Washington, D.C. And I remember clearly, I was really dressed up. You know, when you're, I know you haven't really noticed, I'm really short, but I had on my high heels, and I had on my suit, and I had on my like scarf and stuff, and I introduced Merritt Sterheims, who was the CEO of Miami. And as I introduced him, I sort of stepped back on the stage and fell totally backwards off the stage. Totally. It wasn't just that I fell down, it was that I totally fell off the stage. And you know, the audience said, "Where'd she go?" Where'd she go? I mean, it was always kind of a joke because I couldn't see over the podium anyway. I figured that alone qualified me to be in the Hall of Fame. But this morning when I arrived, my good friend Bill Talbot from Miami, you know what he said to me? He said, "Oh, are you here for the 30, under 30? I said, "Bill, it's not about inches." So having served as more than 30 years at the Boise Bureau and having had the honor of chairing what became DMAI, I just want to say to all of you, there's a wonderful new young lady, her name's Carrie Westergaard. She's the new Miss Boise, and I want you all to be really nice to her, give her the same welcome and same love that you've given to me. But all of you who are kind of new, I would say to you, people say to me, "Do you like retirement? Do you miss it?" I don't really, I guess, miss going to work. What I really miss is what you'll gain as you stay in this industry. You just have great friends everywhere. You can hardly go anywhere without knowing somebody and having a friend. And so embrace the CVB. There's always the negative of the politics, but the pleasure of the friends you make. So to all of you, I say thank you so much.
Great job. Great job, Vince.
Now, here's the president and CEO of Visit Anaheim, Jay Burris.
Had to follow Bobbie, didn't I? Perfect. Bobbie, I will relay that message to Mr. Schneider, absolutely. You know, very pleased, privileged, and honored to present this today to Bill Snyder. I had, in football country, I should say, you don't want to follow Bear Bryant. Well, I get to follow Bear Bryant in his position with Anaheim. Some shoes are hard to fill and some are impossible. Mr. Snyder came from Philadelphia to Anaheim as the president and CEO of the Anaheim Area Visitor and Convention Bureau, where he served for 24 years, and what an impact he's made on so many. I still have many staff who actually worked for Mr. Snyder, and they talk about every day the great impact that he has had on their lives and on their careers. During Mr. Snyder's tenure, the Anaheim Convention Center business grew from 92,000 convention delegates in 1968 to more than 1 million, where we still exist today. Bill was very innovative in what he did. He was one of the first to welcome me when I accepted the position in Anaheim. He called me and said, I understand what it's like to move across the country to a new position, and if Connie and I can be of assistance, we're there for you, which meant a lot to me. He was one of the first to open up sales offices in Washington, D.C. and in Chicago. Maybe what he's known for most is a little advertising campaign that many of us who have been in the industry for a while are well aware of the campaign, and we'll see a little bit of it in the video. But the campaign, not just in its creativity and its innovation, it really took us in some ways into the destination marketing world because it told a story. It taught us how to paint a picture and tell a story, not just showing product, but showing people and showing how you all work together. And he really taught us a lot about that. So I think we are DMAI because of his contributions. He's not finished. He still runs the Hotel Association in Orange County. So it's amazing. In his 80s, he's still running this organization. And Bobbie, he's as feisty as ever, and he would come right back at you if he were here today. Bill was recognized for his leadership and dedication to the highest ideals of visitor industry professionalism, community and client cooperation, and marketing creativity and integrity. I cherish the moments I get to have lunch with Bill once a month, and I love to sit and pick his brain, hear his wisdom, and hear his thoughts, and he is not shy about giving those. He does say, and you'll enjoy this, he says that it's a different day now for what we have to do as DMO leaders, and he thinks if he was still a DMO leader, he would either be assassinated or at least shot at. So if you know Bill, you know that's probably the case. It's an honor and a privilege, and please join me in congratulating my predecessor, colleague, and friend, Bill Snyder.
Sorry I can't be with you in Austin, but as you advance in years, some things happen, and while you think you can do everything you used to do, you just can't do it. I've had a few good opportunities in my career, and two of them that come to mind is one way back in 1962 when I got into the visitor industry at the Philadelphia Convention and Visitors Bureau. I applied to the Bureau. I didn't get the job. For a year after that, about once every month at least, I contacted the executive director, as they were called then, and told him why he should hire me. At the end of that year, the person that they had hired didn't work out, and I think he called and hired me because I was a constant irritant, and he just wanted to get rid of me. So I joined the visitor industry then at the Philadelphia Bureau. The next opportunity occurred in 1968 when I was offered the job as president of the Anaheim Bureau. The staff we put together was extremely competent, very dedicated, very, very loyal, and we had good results. These are the people that made this possible for me. If I had one opportunity to honor them and to recognize whatever I've accomplished in my career, it would be with DMAI Hall of Fame. There's none other that's higher in our industry. So I really sincerely thank Jay Burris for what he did, but I especially want to thank the community of Anaheim and Orange County, the great staff that we had, because I will always, always remember those times. I salute all of you in the visitor industry. Keep up the good work. And I salute all of my fellow inductees.
I met Bill back when I was just a baby. Started at the Anaheim Area Visitor and Convention Bureau when I was only 18 years old. So I have to blame it all on him that I'm still here 30-something years later. Bill actually had the foresight to understand that in looking towards the future, we had to be computerized. So we were the first computerized housing in the United States, thanks to Bill. He really deserves this award, and many more years, Bill.
I started working for Bill Snyder as a naive 20-something and quickly learned his communication style was very direct. He let you know exactly how he felt, good or bad, which was a little intimidating at first, but I actually grew to love that style and understand that style. He always had everyone's back, and you knew it. He was a true leader and someone that was unforgettable, and I'll never forget my entire life. Congratulations, Bill.
As a leader of the Bureau, he was always fair but tough and always a positive mentor. He created not only a great place to work, but also a Bureau family. Congratulations, Mr. Snyder. Well deserved.
He's always been that person for me to just look up to as somebody who's warm, personable. Congratulations, Bill. You certainly do deserve this honor, and I just know that you'll be a terrific inductee into the DMAI Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
I had to think back of when my daughter graduated from preschool to kindergarten, and they asked each child to come on stage and ask what they wanted to be and what they wanted to do. And my daughter got on stage and she said she wanted to work for Bill Snyder like her mommy. Bill holds a very special place in my heart, and I'll be forever indebted to him. Congratulations, Bill, on this honor. You truly deserve this.
Please welcome another former DMAI board chair, the president and CEO of Meet Minneapolis, Melvin Tennant, CAE.
Good morning. Good morning. That's just a little bit better. So my role today is to conduct the induction of Ed McNeill into the Hall of Fame. And we've already heard a couple of perspectives about Ed, so from Bobbie and from Dr. Fenich. So I'll give you my perspective on why we believe that this is a very appropriate induction. So for many of you who've been around a little bit longer, you certainly know Ed, and he served as the president of the New Orleans CVB from 1973 to 2003. I didn't really realize it had been that long. And then served as a consultant with them for several years following that. And of course, we all know that his name was synonymous with New Orleans for more than 3 decades, and it's certainly a phenomenal feat in the politically charged environment in which we all live daily. He was chair of then IACVB in 1991 and 1992, as he served in his role as leading the New Orleans CVB. And he also helped to lead the effort to transition IACVB from being managed by an association management company to having a full-time president and CEO. And it was during this time as his chairmanship that I got a chance to know him well. I was on the board at that time of IACVB, and I witnessed firsthand how he and many others helped to organize the effort to get us to where we are today as an organization. And we certainly owe him a lot for his leadership, and although I never worked with him directly, he certainly had an impact on me and my career based on that particular association. One of the things that I think he's most known for is his innovations in the sales arena, things that we use as standard operating procedures today, and I think Dr. Fenich would certainly second that. He was certainly ahead of his time in many, many ways, had a tremendous and deep relationships with customers, and known to have actually worked accounts himself. That's what I've heard. So certainly not going to happen with me, but that's okay. That's okay. You go, Ed. He, as you would imagine, has earned many, many awards, including a 2003 PCMA award for distinguished service, certainly a number of awards from the New Orleans tourism industry. Prior to his service in New Orleans, he also worked at the San Francisco CVB and in Atlantic City, so two great destinations. Now, Ed is now enjoying retirement in New Orleans, and although he has stepped away from destination marketing, again, his impact is still being felt with us today. Now, I had the opportunity to speak to him to let him know that he was selected as a Hall of Fame inductee, and he was frankly shocked, but he was very, very humbled because he stepped away and kind of cut ties in a lot of ways, but certainly was very appreciative of the honor. When I talked to him about the reasons why and the suggestions why he was actually chosen as an inductee into the Hall of Fame, he had very clear recollections of the things that had happened, but he was very quick to minimize his own contribution, but also to share the credit with others that were involved with the transitions and with the development of our association. And although he is not able to be with us today, he asked me to share a brief statement of appreciation, which I'll read very briefly at this time. Ed says that this weekend we're having a family reunion to celebrate my antiquity, in quotes. For this reason, it is with great regret that I am unable to be with you today. However, I'm very appreciative and humbled to have been chosen as an inductee into the 2015 Hall of Fame. Hopefully, during my 40-plus year career in the hospitality industry, I have instilled in others the excitement and energy I felt every day during my career. It is my hope that all of you find much fulfillment, joy, and happiness in the chosen profession. I feel confident that you will further advance the success of our industry. Thank you so very much for this prestigious award from Ed McNeill. So on behalf of Ed McNeill, I will accept this award, and please give him a round of applause for his contributions to the industry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we lost a few this year. Let's acknowledge them for a few moments.